Este acerón con ncomputers.com otro video para ti hoy. Another problem, man. That's what the system creates, just massive problems. And I just moved my camera a little bit. Now it's like all out of whack. Alright, so I'm going to talk about TurboTax. Tax season. As a computer repair technician, I sure quickly find out when tax season rolls out. That's because I start getting trouble requests. Now I'm going to go over some tips on what you need to upgrade TurboTax. TurboTax tax year 2017 requires, now this is just Macintosh, hence the title and the keyword on this video and the blog post. Click on the link in the description box below to my blog post at my website ncomputers.com that has all the details. It has written instructions, blah 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 blah. Just check out the blog post. Read the blog post. So TurboTax tax year 2017, which I think is technically called TurboTax 2018. I don't like how the camera is now. Okay, this isn't too bad, but whatever. TurboTax 2018 requires Mac operating system 10.11 or newer. macOS 10.11 is known as El Capitan. If you try to install TurboTax on an earlier operating system, Yosemite, anything before El Capitan, Yosemite, Lion, whatever, blah, 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 it will not work. It'll prompt you with an error, and it will warn you that you need to upgrade to Macintosh OS 10.11 or newer. Well, a lot of these users don't realize that. So they go out and purchase TurboTax and they insert their installation media or even a download, and they're just immediately stopped because they don't know that TurboTax requires certain hardware requirements for the Mac. One of them is the operating system. If you do not know what version of Mac operating system you're using, all you have to do is go into the upper left hand corner of the what I would call the top menu. Look for the Apple logo, click on the Apple icon, then choose About This Mac, and it will tell you right there on screen what version of Macintosh operating system you are using. 10.10, 10.9, whatever. Now there's another caveat. You might want to verify this, but you may not. Most computer hardware out in the wild, it is a wild. The world order is very wild. Americans are very dangerous. I avoid 98% of Americans because they're dangerous. They get very emotional and they attack other people. Anyways, I don't want to digress. You will need to make sure that your Mac operating system supports 64-bit. So what you would do is you go back into About This Mac and then choose on, I think it's System Profile. System Report. Click on About This Mac, then click on System Report. There's a link down in the bottom of that window. I think on the left hand side it's just a hyperlink. Click on it. Then it will take you to another window. Then what you would do is on the left hand side, look for software. Scroll down a little bit on the left hand side, click on software to expand that menu. And then what you want to look for is 64-bit kernel and extensions. 64-bit kernel and extensions. If it is marked with a yes, then your Mac operating system supports 64-bit. TurboTax does not work with 32-bit Mac operating system or 32-bit hardware. You know what I'm saying? So those are two important details. If you verified everything, then you should be good to go. However, before you proceed to upgrading your Macintosh from, 10 dot something, most of these individuals have 10.10, which is Yosemite, and they have to upgrade to at least El Capitan. You might run into a problem where it will not allow you to upgrade to El Capitan, but it will allow you to upgrade directly to High Sierra. two very important pieces of information you're going to have to know. Number one, you're going to have an Apple ID. Apple, I don't know, for at least a few years now, they have required an Apple ID with an accompanying password in order to upgrade your Macintosh operating system. There's no way around it that I'm aware of. Even as a computer repair technician, when customers bring me their Macintosh computers, I have to fucking use my Apple ID. There is no way around it when I upgrade their Macintosh operating systems. I guess maybe you could download, I'd have to look into that. Maybe you can download like High Sierra or El Capitan, burn it to DVD or purchase it on DVD and then do a clean install. But I'm dealing with a remote customer, and so I don't want to talk about it. That's for Reality PC. You might want to start listening to my Reality PC podcast, which is a live stream that is converted into an MP3 archive podcast. And you can go to nacomputers.com/archives, nacomputers.com/chat, because that's where I vent about tech, and that's where I talk about all kinds of subjects. Which I'm getting hungry. I'm gonna make some food, and then after making my food, I'm gonna live stream. I just live stream whenever I feel like it. Anyways, I digress. Back to this. So you're gonna have to have an Apple ID. There is no way around it. You're gonna have to know your Apple ID password. It boggles the mind. I understand if you use some obscure website every once a month. Once a month you log into your Chase account. Just as an example. Once a month you log into your, what's the other credit card? There's so many credit card companies. Once a month you log into your bank information, bank account, just to verify your balance. Or just once a month you log into some website that could be kind of considered obscure, meaning you don't use it that often. I understand if you would forget that password, but diabolically, I do not understand how you would not know your Apple ID password, because you have to use an Apple ID in order to install updates. Not only do you have to have an Apple ID to upgrade your operating system, but you have to have it to, install updates. So you're gonna have to have an Apple ID and a password, and you're gonna have to have an Apple ID that is not, suspended. It's gonna, you know what I'm saying? So that's warning number one. You will not be able to download, High Sierra or El Capitan or Sierra. You will not be able to, as of now, as of the time of this video creation, as of the time of my blog post creation. In the future, that could change. You know what I'm saying? Number two important piece of information, you have to know your Macintosh administrator password. Your Mac. This is unconscionable, unfathomable, just diabolically opposed to my logical thinking. You use a Macintosh every day, right? Don't you reboot it once in a while? Don't you log in once in a while? Don't you install updates once in a while? Don't you install other third-party software once in a while? Many of these customers I deal with on a daily basis, they don't know their Apple ID password. They don't know their Macintosh password, the administrator password. Anytime you install an update or many times when you install software, or if you reboot and you log in. Now, some Macintoshes are configured that they automatically log in without a password, but a lot of I know better than that. I've supported Macintoshes in corporate environments, and a lot of times the end user has to type in their password. How can you forget your Apple password? The one that you use on your Macintosh, your profile password, your user password, your admin password. If you do not know your admin password, you're fucked. Number one, if you do not know your Apple ID password, you're fucked. Unless you have a friend or, your mistress on ashleymadison.com that will, borrow it to you. Now, you can go out and create another Apple ID, but that, I don't think I don't know. I don't want to digress. That's going to be for my vent. I have to vent about these customers that are time sharks on this third-party website where I try to earn some supplemental income. But all I do now is just go mentally insane every day. You want to talk about mental illness? You want to talk about becoming mentally ill? Find out how many people don't know their fucking Apple ID password and or their goddamn Mac password. Now, what you could do is you could borrow an Apple ID. Somebody else's. As long as it's not suspended and it's legit. Then that will allow you to, then you have to go to the Apple Store. Go to the Apple Store on your Mac. You're going to have to sign in with an Apple ID and a password, and it does authenticate over the internet. Then eventually you can go to, I think, featured, or you can go to updates. Now, a lot of times on the featured window, it will have a banner saying, "Hi Sierra," and then, free upgrade. And you click on free upgrade, and it will prompt you, and then you can click download. Or it might even say download free upgrade or download whatever. Now, another place you can go is to your updates, and then I think it might also notify you that there's a free operating system upgrade, like, Hi Sierra. So those are two places you can quickly access it. There is a search in the Apple Store. In the upper right-hand corner, there's also a search box. You could type in Hi Sierra, and you should find the links. Or you can type in El Capitan, and you should find the links, the download links. So I just gave you 3 quick ways to, get to the links to upgrade your Mac computer, your Macintosh. Then what's going to happen is, when the download completes, another way, here I'll give you a 4th one. Since I'm being generous, I'll give you a 4th one. If you've upgraded at least one other Macintosh, yours, your mistress's, your daughter's, your senator, or some corrupt senator that should be, well, if you want, I don't want to digress about what these criminal, corrupt, crooked politicians should really have to suffer. But you know what I'm saying? Strip down. Whatever. Is that, where's the revolution? Is that purchases? Click in the Apple Store. There's a purchases tab. If you have upgraded a Macintosh recently, like let's say El Capitan or Sierra or even High Sierra, successfully, that should show up in your purchases. What that can do is it's quick. Bam, log into the Apple Store with your Apple ID and password. Bam, click on purchases. Bam, it'll show you all your Apple purchases. And this lot does not make logical sense, but these billion-dollar fascist, crooked, corrupt corporations like, Microsoft, Facebook, YouTube, Google, Apple, they don't use logic. You are not actually purchasing an operating system because Apple releases free operating system upgrades. I think El Capitan was free. I think Sierra was free for a while. High Sierra is right now still free. But they include that download in the purchases tab even though you didn't fucking purchase anything. But whatever. Just click on the purchases tab. Look for your previous purchases, which will also include previous downloads of previous free operating system upgrades. So if you downloaded and installed El Capitan before, it'll show up in purchases. Sierra, show up in purchases. High Sierra. So that could be a quick way for you to do it. And then all it does is there's like a download button. You click on download on the right hand side and it'll download it again. And then, but once it finishes downloading, it will prompt you. And then you go to install it. It'll open up a window. And then once you click on install, or once the installer starts, I think when it finishes downloading, then it opens up the prompt and it asks you for your Macintosh administrator password. You're going to have to know it. You should already know what your password is. There are free open source password databases that are the password manager is also password protected. It's just password. In my opinion, society is too paranoid. You shouldn't have to go through all this security crap, but that's just me. You know what I'm saying? But for now, we have to deal with passwords. But to me, you really should know your Mac password. You should know your Apple ID password. Those are pretty important passwords. I don't even own a Macintosh, and I realize the significance behind those two passwords, because if you do not know them and you're trying to upgrade your Macintosh, or you're even trying to install updates, or you're trying to install third-party software, you're fucked. You have to enter in your Macintosh administrator password. If you don't know it, you're fucked. Now, I don't know yet. I'm not going to digress about how you can clear a Macintosh password. I think there are some ways, but I'm not going to talk about that in this video because I don't own a Mac yet, and I haven't even tried it. So, but Macintosh is based upon BSD, which is Unix. So I definitely think there's a possibility that you can clear your password. But hey, suffer that consequences when you don't take your password seriously. Look, like I said before at the beginning of this video, I don't expect you to know, like, let's say you have a Facebook account. I don't know why you have one. I have one, but I don't know. I might get rid of it, or I only use it for my Facebook business page. But really, I get very few. I have some likes on it, less than 100, but it's not like I only have like 2 likes, 50 or something like that. But let's say you have a Facebook account, but you very rarely use it. I understand you forgetting it, or some email that you very rarely use, or some obscure website that you only log in once a month or every few months. I understand you not knowing that, but when it comes to operating system passwords, you should know that by heart. You should know that before the dumb shit nationalism, the Star Spangled Banner and the anthem, the national anthem. You don't need to know the national anthem in America. Francis Scott Key was a racist. The national anthem in the United States is based off of European supremacy, the pale-skinned Europeans. Yes, that's a fact. So you don't need to memorize that, but you might want to memorize your fucking Apple ID password and your Mac password, because especially the last week, people don't. I don't understand how you cannot know those passwords, and then I try to help them, and then I get affected. I sit there waiting for half an hour or an hour for somebody to try to figure out their goddamn fucking Apple ID password, or I warn them about the Mac administrator password, and then they're like, "Oh well, I don't need your help now." It could be because they know that they don't know their Mac password and they're fucked, or maybe it's a stolen Mac. I don't know. So I'm just warning you. I think before I run, one other tip that I might. Yes, I'm glad I saved this for last. This could be a possible gold tip. According to my intelligent apparatus, I'm not the NSA, I don't spy on you. I'm not the government, I don't spy on you. I'm not the military, I don't spy on you. I'm not, Google, Facebook, YouTube, I don't spy on you. I don't need to spy on you, I don't want to spy on you. According to my intelligence assets, which are just my customers, I've been tipped off. One of my customers that I helped them upgrade their Macintosh for TurboTax, I think we upgraded their computer to El Capitan, I think. And they were very grateful, and they were very nice about it. And I was like, man, why? How come all of my customers are not like you? Why? I'm opposed to marriage because to me it's a contract with government and military and society. And you have to appear in front of a Freemasonic, some judge in a clown suit that decides whether or not you can get divorced or not? Huh? I'm not really a fan of current marriage, but if I were to get married, why can't I get married to a customer like this? How come all my customers aren't like this? These other ones just cause me grief and mental illness as an IT tech, information technology tech. It just boggles my mind. Here's a possible gold tip. This customer told me that I don't know who they talked to. communicated with somebody at Intuit, which they are the corporation that develops and creates and sells TurboTax, which I don't know if TurboTax might be the largest market share. TurboTax, Quicken, in my opinion, top 5 without looking it up. They spoke to somebody at Intuit, TurboTax support, whoever, and they tipped me and they told me that next year Intuit is going to require that in order for you to use TurboTax tax year 2018, it will be for TurboTax tax year 2018, which will be technically, I think they will call it TurboTax 2019, which is technically for tax year 2018. I think that's how their numbering conventions are. I could be wrong about that. But I think that's how they are. Next year, you are going to have Apple Mac operating system High Sierra or newer. So that will be 10.13. So obviously you have almost a year. Chew on that. Well, at least they warned people, but these corporations, but then I don't always defend, ignorance. I don't always defend customers because a lot of times it's right there in your face. And let me lecture a little bit just quickly. When it comes to purchasing software, it doesn't matter if it's for even Linux. Yeah, you can buy software for Linux. Linux, Mac, Windows, wind blows. Excuse me. It's windy out. No, it's not. Not like it was a few days ago. I was like, what the fuck? 50-mile-an-hour gusts? This fucking old building might just fucking crumble. Would anybody care? Fuck no. Would any of my subscribers care? I don't think I have any loyal subscribers. Would they give a rat's ass if I met my demise in a goddamn windstorm? No. When it comes to purchasing software, in order to avoid headaches and potential refunds and returning money and pissing off people like me that hates refunds, always look up the hardware requirements. And this is where you click on the link in the description box of this video down below to my blog post on my website, anitcomputers.com, because I prefer to link directly to the source. Go to the source. I link directly to an official turbotax.com webpage that tells you the requirements for TurboTax 2017. If you took the time, I'm not lecturing this customer, but I'm just, if you want to hear it, look up the requirements first before you purchase software. What is the hardware requirements? Now, a lot of time, when it comes to hardware requirements, if you have a newer computer within the last 5 years, most times you can buy a lot of software, but you just don't know. But when it comes to other requirements like operating system, or like it gets, I don't want to. Oh my God, it can turn into a quagmire because relativity. But as a general kind of, I don't like the word rule. As a general synopsis, when it comes to purchasing software, it might be productive for you to just look up what the hardware requirements are. Even if you have to call Intuit or whoever you're debating on purchasing software, just give them a quick call, or just go online, do some Google searches, and then try to get an official web page. Go directly to the source and try to, because most of these customers that I've had to deal with this tax season, they are completely clueless. When all they had to do is spend a few seconds or a few minutes on Google, and they would have known, I need to have macOS 10.11 or greater installed. Now, if they don't know what that means, well then, but at least they would know that. At least then when they would ask for help, or at least it will help them with their purchasing decision. Because what could happen is, you could buy some software and, oops, your operating system isn't supported. Or when you do try to upgrade your Mac, oops, you don't have an Apple ID. Oops, you don't know your administrator password for your Mac. And then, oh, you're fucked. And then, oh, you just spent $50 or $100 or $500 or $1,000 on software. And, well, now you can't even install it. Oh, now you're have to get a refund. Oh, it's beyond the 30-day 100% guaranteed refund. Oops. Or oops, oh, they'll charge you a 15% restocking fee. Oops. So you can alleviate a lot of headaches. I would say this is another tip. So my goal tip is, number one, I'm warning you, next year, it looks like Intuit is going to require at least High Sierra, which is macOS 10.13. Also, another tip, gold, fool's gold, whatever. Gold, in my opinion, but I've been accused as being a narcissist, so I may as well play the part to the best of my ability. So my aspirations from this, right now and into the future, is becoming the world's greatest narcissist. This is a gold tip to me. Always try to find out what the requirements are for the software that you're about to purchase. What are the hardware requirements? What's the operating system requirements? If it's like, I don't want to. I could make a separate seminar just on that topic, so I don't want to digress. As always, I'm already starting to laugh. Good luck, because you're gonna fucking need it in the IT world when it comes to upgrading operating systems. Good luck. Man.